Okay, it's rolling.
Okay. Oh, hi, Eddie.
Hi.
What I'm doing here, this is an exterior corner of an interior wall, and it had a piece of wood that was nailed onto it as trim, I guess as a corner protector, that over the years got painted and it looked cheap and it didn't really look appropriate. So I took the trim off, and I've got this simple corner now, but it has this old coral pink color.
Yes, it's hideous.
Yes, it is. It's about the color of Pepto-Bismol. Now, when it was new, back in the 1950s, it probably looked pretty good. But today, you know, it looks pretty bad. So what I'm doing, I've run out of white paint. I used all the white paint I had on the inside of the bookcase closet.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have that any more of that left. So what I'm doing over here is I'm using joint compound, which is this over here, and basically I'm going into the still moist part of the joint compound, because I've had this joint compound for a while, so it's a little dried out, but it's still moist and pliable enough to work with. So what I do is I'm basically just plying it on, and what you do is you have to work with it a little bit. And you always drop a little bit, because like I said, it's not as moist as it was when it was new. So I'm going to pick up some.
Should I water it?
No, I'm afraid if I water it, that'll make it too thin. It's this is a pre-mixed compound. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm working this in. And what will happen is when this dries, it will dry white. You can see the joint compound itself is almost a light pink. And when I first bought it, it was bright pink.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the type that it goes on pink and it dries white. But I've had this for a couple of years, and when I bought it, it was bright pink.
Yeah.
But if it sits on a shelf for a couple of years, it'll slowly dry out. So
now it's a kind of mauve.
Yeah, it's a kind of pale mauve. But see, what happens is once I work with it, once I move it around, it starts to become very pliable and very flexible, and it gets to be a little easier to work with. So basically, this, even though I don't have paint right now to cover this up, I've got this patching plaster, or what they call it, joint compound.
Interesting that coral and bright blue were like late 40s, early 50s color.
Yeah.
And mauve and powder blue were 80s colors.
Yeah, they were because I think people learned from the 40s and 50s, that some colors are just too dark and intense.
Yeah.
When you paint, especially when you paint them on the inside of a room.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, the reason I decided to do this is because when I pulled the wood trim away, it did leave some holes.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to work with this anyway to fill in the holes. So I'm gonna dig in here.
Cat wants to eat some.
Oh, this is, I don't think it doesn't even smell like anything she would want. She just wants to be in the middle of whatever we're doing. You have to move. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And like I said, what you do is you just work with it a bit, and then it starts to become very pliable, and then you can manipulate it into the shape you want. And you can be a little rough with it. You can let it dry rough, because then you can come back and sand it smooth. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Eddie. That's good.